The Queen. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, called Nepal, a queen by the name of Mahamaya dreamed of being carried to the Himalayas. A goddess then appeared and bathed Queen Maya. Later on, the goddess also clothed the queen with heavenly clothing. After that, the queen was sprayed with perfume and decorated with beautiful flower garlands. Basically, the queen had a 5-star quality spa treatment like a queen, because she is a queen. Later on, a white elephant carrying a lotus flower on its trunk circled Queen Maya 3 times. The elephant nudged the queen on her right side, and then the white elephant entered the womb of the queen from the right side. Yeah, that's how the large white elephant entered the womb. I can only say maybe it's magic. It's a magical white elephant. The queen woke up and she realized she had a dream, and that she's not high or something. She was bewildered with her dream, so she told her husband about her trippy dream. Later, the king father, King Suddhodana, after hearing about the trippy dream of the queen, asked for priests to interpret the dream, because maybe he thought the queen might be on to something, or maybe she's on something. The priest told the king that the queen is not going crazy, and it's just good news. The queen is pregnant with a son, and the son will either become a ruler of the world or will renounce worldly pleasures and live a religious life and will become a very popular religious person. As to how the priest knew what was up with the queen, I don't know. Maybe the priest has access to divine power of super ultrasound that can both tell the baby's sex and also tell its future. Or maybe this priest is simply Einstein, just time traveling out there, handing out good news to historical people. Time passed and the queen mother got pregnant. Buddha's story starts here, with a miraculous dream and the mother getting pregnant. Chapter 2. The Baby. On her way back to her parents, while resting in the middle of a forest in a place called Lumbini Park, Queen Maya began giving birth. The birth happened under a full moon. This event actually is celebrated as Vesak, where all Buddhists all over the world remember Buddha's birthday, enlightenment, and death. The birth of the Buddha came with miracle stories. Miracle stories like branch of a tree bending down to become the queen's support while she was giving birth, standing up, or that the earth shook, or basically there was an earthquake while the Buddha was being born. But the following are the most notable miracle stories. Upon coming out the queen mother, the baby walked 7 steps, and wherever the baby stepped, a lotus flower bloomed from it. And on his 7th step, the baby stopped and spoke. He proclaimed that he is the chief of the world and that this will be his last birth. All I can say is, wow, magic baby. The king was very happy of this news. Of course, he hoped for a son who could succeed him, and a son was given to him. King Suddhodana then had holy men and priests see the future of the baby and to suggest a name for the baby. 2 futures were seen for the baby: that he was either going to be a strong ruler if he wanted to become a ruler, or he would become the wisest of us all, otherwise known as the Buddha. The first prediction was what the father wanted to hear, while the second prediction made the king feel kinda bad. This feeling later influenced his way of raising his kid, rigid and kept inside the palace. If only the king knew about multi-level marketing, then maybe he would have allowed for the futures to happen. This could have attracted more followers for his son, even if he became a king or a holy man. So, the name chosen for the baby is Siddhartha, and the name has a meaning. The meaning of the name is someone who accomplished his goal. When I was still learning about Buddhism, when I got to this part, I always thought that the meaning of the name was a big spoiler about the Buddha's life story. Because if the meaning of the name was already given in the first part of the story, then this is one big spoiler. Because it tells you that the main character of the story accomplished his goal. Man, not even a spoiler warning, are you kidding me? Chapter 3. The Kid. Queen Maya passed away just 7 days after giving birth. Siddhartha grew up not to remember her. Siddhartha was raised by his stepmom. Oh, by the way, his aunt was the stepmom. The younger sister of Queen Maya, who already had a kid herself, became the stepmom. GG and well played, King. GG, well played indeed. Siddhartha is a very smart and curious kid. He was educated with all the types of knowledge from science to language. His education also included fighting skills, and this was just normal because he was born into a warrior tribe. So that explains that. Seems the dad wants a warrior king if you think about it. Remember when the dad heard about the second prediction of Siddhartha's future? This is now the part where we can see how the dad made sure to control what the prince saw and experienced within the confines of their palace. Growing up, King Suddhodana raised his son to be close to him, mostly inside the comfort of their home, and to make sure Siddhartha would never ever see anything that would make him think about religious stuff, the king made comfort a very great part of Siddhartha's life growing up. No hardships and no suffering whatsoever. Basically, the dad spoiled the son. Spare the child, spoil the rod. From jewelries to beautiful clothes, palaces for each season, pretty women, abundance of food, etc. Everything was given to the prince to make sure that he will believe that palace life is far greater than outside life. That outside life is simply uninteresting. But this isn't the end for the dad's plan of keeping the prince inside the palace, as he has another trump card hidden inside his robe. Chapter 4. The Waifu. And finally, to make sure that Siddhartha will embrace the palace life, to guarantee that he becomes a king, Siddhartha needs to be married, the king thought. So, all the pretty ladies were called. All the pretty ladies, all the pretty ladies. Story says that from many of the possible women, Siddhartha chose Princess Yasodhara. One story says that Siddhartha gave all the pretty women gifts, but only one among them got the most expensive gift. Of course, that would be Princess Yasodhara. This meant Siddhartha chose her to be the wife. That's right, young man. Apparently, that's how you get girls, by giving them expensive gifts. I'm kidding. Well, in another account of the choosing of the wife story, it claims that Siddhartha won Yasodhara's hand from an archery contest. The hand only? That's not enough. So I guess Siddhartha had to win more duels to acquire the other parts of Yasodhara's body. What's this? Trying to gather Exodia? Anyway, Siddhartha and Yasodhara got married. They had a son later on. They named the kid Rahula. Funny trivia about the name Rahula. He was named as such because the meaning of the name Rahula is a chain that will stop the attainment of enlightenment. I find this funny because, if you think about it, what type of parents name their kids in that manner? Unless the parents really hate that kid. Bruh. This is like naming your kid Burden just because you will have troubles being a parent later on. Oh my god. Bad parents. Of course, this marriage and having a kid, a male kid, and a grandson at that, this pleased the king father so very much since this was all that he wanted. A male heir, his son, or possibly his grandson. King Suddhodana just wanted a warrior king that would succeed him later on. And he now seems to be happy because he got it. Yay for King Suddhodana. Chapter 5. The Four Sights. Unfortunately for the king father, one big characteristic of Siddhartha was that he was a very curious person. One day, Siddhartha thought he needed to see the kingdom for his own eyes. He wanted to understand the land he would rule once he becomes a king. If you are a cat owner, you'll know that even a neutered cat kept inside the house for a very long time will beg the owner to go outside. Many times, Siddhartha meowed for permission. Asked for permission. And many times, King Suddhodana declined Siddhartha's request, until one fortunate day when the king relented and finally said yes. The king father got tired of Siddhartha's constant meowing for the outside world. But of course, the king will make sure to make everything look clean and perfect, just like how the people fake their image online to look clean and perfect. The king father ordered his people to fix everything to look good and pleasing in the eyes of the prince when he starts visiting. So, the kingdom had a general cleaning and preparation for the prince's visit. When everything was prepared, Siddhartha was then allowed to go out, accompanied by his cousin as a charioteer. The king father, however, didn't anticipate one thing. Despite him ordering his men to make sure everything looks nice and clean and perfect, there's a chance encounter, or a fated encounter, or a lucky encounter. You decide on how you interpret this part of the story. This encounter with the 4 different types of people is what changed Siddhartha's heart. So, what did Siddhartha see? In 4 instances during his 4 days of visit, Siddhartha saw the following. He saw an old man, he saw a sick man, he saw a dead man, and he saw a holy man. In Buddhist tradition, these 4 are called the 4 sights. The first 3 sights shocked Siddhartha a lot, and you have to understand why it was shocking for him. Remember, he grew up inside a palace where everything was curated to look good, clean, beautiful, youthful, sunny, with all rainbows and butterflies, where everything is bright and gay. And for a young man that grew up experiencing nothing but comfort and beauty, seeing an old person, a sick person, and a corpse made the young prince into a scaredy cat. Don't ask me how the dad managed to keep his people young and not sick, nor how he managed to keep Siddhartha not sick. That's beyond the scope of my video. Anyway, this was such a scarring event for the prince. Why? Siddhartha started feeling scared about this temporal existence and life. He thought he and his family would also grow old, get sick, and die. That thought was scary for him. That the comfort, beauty, and riches he had, all of them won't be able to help him out from this fear, nor help him calm the existential dread he was having the current moment. Even after getting back home from his visits, even if an expensive party worth flexing on Instagram was thrown for him, Siddhartha's mind and heart could not find peace. What he saw bothered him a lot. It bothered him for days. He could not imagine himself nor his family suffer the same fate. So, he decided that he should find the solution for what troubles him. In the solution, it was provided by the 4th sight, the holy man. His solution is to become a holy man. Being a holy man, a monk, a priest, a Brahmin of the forest, offered the prince a way to find the answer to the impending march of suffering. So, he decided to leave his wife and the kingdom and a chance to become a king, to leave everything behind so he could go on his merry adventure deep in the forest and become a holy man of the forest. To devote himself to the ascetic life so he could find the answer to the problems he thought needed answering. And so, Siddhartha quietly and secretly moved out of the palace. Legend says a fog mist came, making everybody sleep, so Siddhartha could escape. But does the myth really matter when a man with strong conviction and goals really wants to leave? I think nobody would have stopped Siddhartha knowing he had a big itch that needs scratching. So he traveled far away, as far as possible, and became a holy man of the forest. Before I end part 1 of a 2-parter mini-series about Buddha's story, I have to include one part of the story which some resources or book would not mention. The part that the charioteer played, Channa, the cousin of the Buddha who went with him to visit the kingdom. Actually, some books would say that the reason why the 4 sights of Siddhartha had a big impact on Siddhartha is because Channa explained each and every one of them. So for example, when Siddhartha saw the old man and Siddhartha didn't understand what was happening, Channa explained that, "Oh, my young prince, everybody grows old. You, me, your family, your wife, your kid, your father, everybody grows old." And same for the other sites. And because of this, Siddhartha had an understanding and a trauma. All thanks to that cousin. That cousin also, according to other stories, helped Siddhartha escape the palace. So the security in the palace is too tight. Nobody can easily enter or exit, and that gave a big challenge for the prince. But besides the mist, Channa actually helped the prince escape the palace. And finally, another story which is limited to other Buddhist traditions is that when they escape, the prince was on a horse, Channa was with him, and upon reaching, I guess, an acceptable distance far away from the palace, the Siddhartha ordered Channa and the horse to go back. And some legends say that the horse actually died because it was so sad, it died of depression. The horse died of sadness. Yeah. This is part 1 of a 2-part series about me just trying to speedrun, explain an outline of the Buddha's life story. The second part will be released later on. Again, my intention here is not to make fun or belittle Buddhism. I just wanted to make a video of this story I studied and read about for so many times long ago. And even up until today, I still read parts of the story. My simple goal is just to make a video or a record of the story in video form so I could maybe use it later on, or maybe other people can use it for themselves. Maybe they can use it as notes if they wanna have a short introduction to the story, to the life of the Buddha. If they are lazy to read those long articles published on books or on the internet. So yeah, please don't cancel me. Thanks for listening.